Hey guys, this is Nate Jackson, and I wanted to show you a new software that I've been working on for you guys. I've had a lot of requests to be able to automate some of the functionality on Craigslist, and so I've been working on this off and on. I actually came up with the concept in about 2015. It got a prototype working, functional, and then put it to the side. And then I realized that it's just sitting here on my computer and I'm not really doing anything with it. I need to go ahead and wrap it up and get it to you guys because you've been asking me about it, but just so many projects with Facebook and LinkedIn have kept us occupied. But I got it to the point where it's just about ready for release, and I wanted to kind of give you an overview, show you what it's about, and show you how you'll be able to use it. So here we have all of the locations on Craigslist, all of the different regions, and so if we go to US, then we have all of the 50 states. And we can drill down to our particular region, and I have it set for every region and every city on Craigslist. So we have every region, and we also have all of the different categories that you can pull data from. So we have community, we have services, housing, for sale, jobs, gigs, resumes, and if we break these down, then we have all of the subcategories just as they are listed on Craigslist. So there's community, here's, let's say, housing, we all the different categories for housing. And then so I have it for all the different categories, and then we have a search keyword here. So you can input your search keyword, and then once you select your region, your city, and your category, then you can search that particular combination for your keyword. And what the software is going to do is pull all of the listings from that category at that location. And you can select multiple locations, you can select multiple categories for the same keyword. And it's going to pull all of the listings and create a nice file for you, a nice CSV, so that you can have a list of people to contact. For example, if you're in the real estate business, if you're a real estate investor and you want to search for let's say you want to search for foreclosures in your area. So we pick real estate for sale. We might want to pick some other categories. I think for foreclosures or for investment properties, real estate for sale is probably going to be your best bet. So let's say you pick real estate for sale, and let's say you want to pick a couple of different locations. Let's try, well, I'm in Texas, so let's go to Houston. So we're going to try Houston. Where's Texas? So Texas, and we go to Houston. So there's Houston. And so now we're going to search real estate for sale in Houston. We're going to search for the keyword foreclosure. So I type foreclosure. Now, one thing about Craigslist is that in order to comb through a lot of Craigslist listings, you're going to have to use some sort of IP masking. So I have the software set up to where you can manually enter a proxy and set that as your proxy. And to use something like this, you're going to have to use a lot of proxies. So you can set a single proxy and then use it until it's no longer good. Or I have where you can actually upload a list of proxies, and I also have it to where you can use a VPN known as HMA, or hide my ass. So the way that works is you click the load HMA button, and then on your computer you're going to navigate to the location of where the software is located. So in my case, I'd go to program files, and then I go to HMA Pro VPN, then you go to bin, and then you pick the executable for hide my ass. And so it's right there. And so once we've done that, then we can not worry about our own personal IP address getting blocked. We're always going to be using an IP address provided by the VPN. And the software is set up so that as it runs, and if an IP address gets blocked, it's going to switch to a new IP address. So you can set it to run pretty autonomously, and it's not the fastest software in the world, but that's good because that gives you that allows your IP address to last a lot longer. So it doesn't have to rotate IP addresses so frequently. So I'm going to show you how it works. I think I have it set up here. Before you start, you have to make sure that you're already connected using Hide My Ass right here. So connect to the VPN. And so I'm going to just go ahead and let it tell me it's connected. You'll see over on the right hand side, it'll tell you when it's connected. Hit see Hide My Ass Pro VPN saying that's successfully connected. So now that it's connected, we can move that out of the way. And everything's going to happen in this browser. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to leave the browser open or just hide the browser. I think it doesn't make it any faster or slower. So we're probably gonna, for now, I'm going to leave it open. I may hide it in the future. But so what we're searching for is foreclosures in Houston in the real estate for sale category. So I think I've done that before. So let me go ahead and delete what I've done previously. So the folder is Craigslist Scraper Search Results Houston Real Estate for Sale Foreclosure. So I'm going to just delete all of this. Let's delete this file. And so now we're going to go ahead and start the search. And like I said, it's going to, some IP addresses are going to work, some are not, simply because of the way Craigslist operates. But you see here, it's gone to the real estate section of Houston Craigslist, and it's going to input the keyword. I have it operating at a pretty human pace. So it's hit the keyword, and now it's going to do a search for that. It's going to change the listings to a list instead of a gallery. So it's done that. And now it's going to comb through all of the results. It's going to pull all of the URLs and all the titles. And then from there, it's going to go to each URL one by one. It's going to pull the phone number, the contact phone number, the title, the email address, the contact email address, as well as the description of each listing. It's going to put it in a nice file for you. Let's go back to that folder. Documents, Craigslist Scraper, Search Results, Houston, Real Estate for Sale. The folder is empty, and shortly, once it pulls that data, it's going to create a new file here, and it's going to call it foreclosure, whatever your keyword name is. So once it does that, it's going to pull that data off the page and then go to the next page. And it's going to go through all the results. So this saves you hours and days of there's the file. So let me click that, and it'll have the preview. So there it shows you the first listing, and here's the URL. There's no phone number. Here's the phone number right here. And then there's no email address for this one. But most of them are going to have the Craigslist reply email address, which is an anonymous emailer address that they assign for you. So it's going to go on to the next page. You see it's pulling the information right now. And then it's going to go to the next page. Like I said, it's not the fastest right now. It's still in kind of in beta. So I'm not working on speed. I'm working on accuracy and consistency, and just making sure that we can get around all of the technology that Craigslist uses to block this. So it's going to go to the next listing, pull the next data, and if it gives a problem with the IP address, then it's just going to change IP addresses and try again. So here you see, let's go back to the file. You'll see the file size changing. Now you see we have a lot more data here in the file in the preview. So as the software is working, the file is just getting larger and larger, and it's going to just go through each listing one by one. So this is a software that you can pretty much set to run overnight if you want to have some leads to contact the next day. And then in the morning, you're going to have a lot of fresh leads that you can contact. Here it just went from 3 kilobytes to 4 kilobytes. And let's go back, and we're on to the next listing. So the main issue with this software, or with the main issue with Craigslist, is that they monitor IP addresses very closely when it seems like there's some sort of automation going on, which is why when you're using Craigslist, you have to have a way to rotate through multiple IP addresses, because at a certain point, the proxy that I'm using with Hide My Ass is going to stop working. So the software is just going to pick another random IP address through the United States. So if we take a look at where it's set up now, this IP address says that we're in Kansas. and that's the IP address. Some of them last longer than others. Some of them you'll see immediately it might work 1 or 2 times and then stop working, or it might not work the first time. It might already be blocked by Craigslist. But regardless of what happens, the software is going to automatically switch to a new IP address and keep attempting and keep going. So you don't really have to worry about it. It's very accurate with pulling the data and loading it into the spreadsheet. The data comes out very well. Like I said, this is still in beta. But it's going to be available really soon. The main things that I'm going to complete by the time this is released, I'm going to optimize the speed so that it can work for you as fast as possible. And there's some little minor things that I have to take care of in the interface. But that's the first part of what the software does. The second part, okay, so you see here an error has occurred. Please try again later. What that means is the Craigslist has stopped that IP address from working. So they blocked that IP address. So you see here it's changing the IP address automatically. The software is changing the IP address, and it'll take about 30 seconds to set up a new IP address, and then it's just going to keep going. So now we're in Maine, Bath, Maine. So we have a new IP address and a new location. So far as Craigslist is concerned, it's a brand new computer. Unrelated to the first search. It deletes the cookies, and that one's already blocked, so it's going to change it again. So just wait a couple seconds, and it's going to change IP address once again. And it's going to keep changing. See, there it is right here, changing IP address. And it's going to change IP address until it finds one that it can keep going. So just give it a few seconds. But we're getting a lot of good data. Let's see where we're at now. We're at 5 kilobytes of data. Once this is done, I'll actually open the file and show you what we're getting. So now we have a new IP address, and we are in Las Vegas. So, and now it's back and running. It's able to keep going. So the software, it takes care of the issue of IP addresses for you. And so there you see it's back and running. So, like I said, this is something you can set up to run overnight, and by the next day, regardless of what you're looking for, it has all of the categories on Craigslist. So you can go through 1, 2, 3, multiple cities, and and multiple categories, and it will go from one city to the next, and one category to the next. So it does the cities first for one category, and then it goes to the next category and goes through all the cities for that category. So that's the sequence you're going to get. And when it runs a search, it keeps the data organized by, you see here the search results are broken down by city. So each city is going to have its own folder, and each city folder is going to have its own category, and then each category folder is going to have a file for each keyword. So that's how the data is broken down. So it keeps it very organized for you, and it's very stable, and it's running really well. So I just wanted to, like I said, that's the first part of what the software does. The second part of what the software does is, you see, we have the Messages tab. And with the Messages tab, you can actually upload the files that you get, and you can reply to each message in the file with your, if you leave this blank, then it's just going to reply to the message, and the subject is going to be whatever the title of the Craigslist listing is. And then you can type your own message to the poster, to whoever listed the post. You can use any email address you want. You're going to get the best results with like a Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo. But if you want to use your own personal domain, you can do that as well. I'm finding that the Gmails and the Yahoos and Hotmails are going to give you the best deliverability, so I would stick with that. In addition, it's also going to rotate if you have multiple email addresses. It's a good idea because using the Gmail and Hotmail and Yahoo, they have mailing limits, daily mailing limits that are going to limit you to about 100 emails per day if you're using a third-party client like this. If you're sending directly through the Gmail interface, I think it's 500. I'm also looking at G Suite, because G Suite will, which is a Google service, will allow you, I think, 2,000 messages per day for one version, and then 10,000 per day with another version. But right now, using Gmail or just a regular Hotmail, or and in addition, G Suite is a paid service, so you have to pay for that. But just using the free Gmail, you're limited to 100 per day per email address. So if you have multiple email addresses, the software is going to rotate through those email addresses for you. Here you just click the load post file. So if you were to go and load that file for closure, it would take the email addresses out of each listing and reply to each post with your message here and the subject being in response to whatever the title of the email address is. So it works really well. So you can set your email settings here, your SMTP server. You just put that here, put your SMTP port. This is the same way you set up your email on your smartphone or on your mail client like Thunderbird or Outlook if you have a desktop client. So it's no different from setting up email on your phone. Just put your server, your connection type, either SSL or non-SSL, your server name, your port, your full name, and your email address, and the password for your email address. So here we're changing IP addresses again. And where are we going to now? Now we're going to Wichita, Kansas. So if this IP address works, then it's going to keep going. If not, it's going to change it again. So now our file is 20 kilobytes. We started at 0, then 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's up to 20. You see we have a lot of listings here. So let's see if that proxy is working for us. It looks like, yep. So we're still going. And folks, we have a lot of, we're as many proxies as this VPN is going to give us. We have access to all of them. So it's rotating through. I have it connecting to a random server every time it changes. So, and you can, let's see here. Proxy settings. It's set to only use US proxies the way that I have it set, but you can set it if you're in another country and not in the United States. It has proxies all over the world. So the most plentiful are in the United States, but there are proxies all over the world. You see here. All right. So what I'm going to do now is, so another proxy's been blocked, and that's just the nature of Craigslist. They spend a lot of time and effort blocking IP addresses. So this is how we can get around that. Now what I'm going to do is show you the data that we're getting from this software. I'm going to just let it bring up another listing, and then from there I'm going to pause this and show you the data that we're actually getting. Okay, so yeah, so it's still going. Just had to get a new proxy, and now our proxy is, where are we? Baltimore, Maryland. So it's still going. So this is, once the proxy stops working, then we just go to another location and keep it going. So, and what it's doing, it's going to the reply button and then just pulling the contact information, the email address, and the phone number. It's pulling the title, and it's pulling the description and the URL. If you want to reference the actual listing, it pulls that as well. All right, so let me go ahead and pause this. Pause that. And let's take a look at the data that we're actually getting. So I'm going to open this file that we got for closure. in my favorite spreadsheet software, OpenOffice Calc. It's a free competitor for Microsoft Excel, and it works just as well, so I encourage everyone to use that. So let me get this window the right size. All right, so here you see in the first column we have the title of the Craigslist listing. And so far during this video, we've pulled about 16 listings, which is very good. Like I said, it's not the fastest, but I haven't optimized it for speed yet. So you can, but like I said, you can set it to run overnight, and by the next day you'll have more than enough people to contact for the day. So we have the title, and then we have the description. This is the actual text of the listing, the description in the listing. And then after that we have the phone number. Oops. So now we have the phone number. Let me make it a little bit wider. So that's just spillover from the previous cell. So we have the phone numbers. There's phone number. And then next to that, we have the email address, the contact email address for each listing. And I guess some people have multiple listings, but you see the URLs are all unique here. So this is, and then the final column is a URL if you need to just reference the listing and want to get more information, or if you want to look at pictures, you can go straight to the URL and just look at the pictures, which is very good if you're doing stuff like real estate. Let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller, because it's spilling over. Oh, what I need to do is wrap the text. Format, cells. If I just wrap that text, then it'll show it the way it's supposed to be. Alignment, wrap text automatically. All right, so do that for the whole column. Format, cells, wrap text automatically. There. All right, so now that looks better. Just I didn't want you to think that the columns weren't coming out the way. So here's the phone number column. So everything is where it's supposed to be. The data is nice and organized. Email addresses, URLs, titles, descriptions. So just to reiterate, this software can be used for any category and any location on Craigslist. So we have them all here. You can search multiple cities as well as multiple categories in one search. So you just set it up to run and just let it run until it completes the search. So we're going to be offering, so right now it's still in beta, but I am offering you the opportunity to pre-order it. And so as I said, once the full version is released, you'll be able to input your proxies, either a single proxy, or you can upload a proxy list and it will rotate through your proxies. Once a proxy dies, or the IP address is no longer, it gets blocked by Craigslist, which happens from time to time. Like I said, they're really aggressive about preventing the automation. But your best bet is going to be to use the Hide My Ass software, because you get unlimited proxies and you don't have to worry about buying new proxies over and over again. So that's going to be your best bet, is just to get the Hide My Ass virtual private network. So as you'll remember, you can use the mailer to respond to the ads that you download, and you'll be able to load the file that you download and then run through each listing and send a message to them. What you're going to need to do is, I don't have it on here yet, but you'll be able to rotate through email addresses as well. So if you have multiple Gmail accounts or multiple Gmail and Hotmail accounts, you'll be able to upload that, and it'll rotate through each email address so that once you get to the maximum for each email address, it'll go on to a new email address. So right now the software is available for pre-order for my early adopters. I'm still working out the final pricing, but if you click the link below, you'll get all the details on the pricing. Some of you are going to be watching this on YouTube, and some of you are going to be watching directly on the sales page. So wherever you are, just check out the pre-order pricing. You want to definitely get a pre-order, because the pre-order price is going to be at a steep discount compared to the final released price. We haven't decided exactly what that price is yet, but by the time the website is up, you'll see what the savings is going to be for pre-ordering versus waiting till the initial release. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down. Look at getting it on pre-order so that we can continue to improve this for you and get the final released version out. And the released version is going to be a monthly fee. It's not going to be a one-time fee. So that's it. I've gone on and on about this long enough. I'm going to go ahead and send this out, and we're working to get the website up and all the purchase information. So all the details will be on the website, and just let me know if you have any questions. This is Nate Jackson signing out, and I'll talk to you soon.